ಪ್ರೀತಿಯ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ, ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವು ಜಾವಾ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮಿಂಗ್ ಇದರ ಯೂನಿಟ್ 4 ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವ ಒಂದು ಟಾಪಿಕನ್ನು ಕಲಿಯಲಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಈ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಸ್ವಿಂಗ್ ಕಂಪೋನೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಕಂಟೈನರ್ ಇದರ ಬಗೆನ ವಿಸ್ತೃತವಾದ ವಿವರಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಡಲಿದ್ದೇವೆ. So without further ado, let's start our classes. Before we proceed, we need to know what is a swing. So swing is a graphical user interface toolkit that is used for developing the window-based Java applications. What is the meaning of this? Now, we are all familiar with the Java programming. So far, we have developed many Java applications. However, these Java applications were text-based applications. We used to enter text and there was no visual components. So what do we mean by saying that is, when we developed the Java application, we had no choice for using buttons, text boxes, or any other visual components. So now we know that most of our modern applications, they are based on graphical user interface. So how do I generate the GUI based application in Java? The answer for this question is by using Swing component. By using Swing, we are able to get lot of components that can be used in our applications, and that is what is the Swing is all about. So Swing is nothing but it is a toolkit that helps us in developing window based applications. Now just to recall, now this Swing was built on abstract windowing toolkit. Now where did we use this one? We have already studied about applets, and when we developed applets, we were using the AWT, which was the previous toolkit that were used for developing GUI application. Now strings are part of Java Foundation classes. So why do we have to use Swing? One of the problem with the AWT was dependent on the platform on which your applications was running. So if you were building an applet, now this applet was running on top of Windows, let's say. So all the components that you were doing were actually directly dependent on the platform. So everything was based on the platform. The code was a bit very restrictive in one sense. Whereas with the Swing, Java provides you a platform independent, lightweight components. I have already discussed about what is Swing in my previous classes, so I will not go very further into this Swing components or Swing explanations. Now let's look at how do I use Swing. Now we are all familiar that in order to use Swing, we need to import classes from a specific package called javax.swing. Now X here refers to an extension. So this was an extension that was provided for AWT. So it's an extension that is given. That is why we have this javax.swing. Now we are all familiar with this. Let's go ahead and let's come to our main topic. Now when we talk about Swing, there are two key terms that we need to know. One is component, the other one is container. Now what are these components and what are these containers? So let's look at each and every one of them. We'll start with the component. Now component is an independent visual control that you can use in your program. So let's look at a simple application over here. I have a NetBeans application created. Now all these things, all these controls that you see over here, so all of them are nothing but, so all of them what you see in this box, they are nothing but, they are all components. We can use these components in our applications. So suppose if you are building an application, you can drag a label and you can place it on your form. So you can put a label on your form. Okay. You can also put a text field on your form. So I can drag and place a text field on my form. So this is possible. You can also drag a button and then place on the form. In the same way, I can drag a checkbox and I can place it on my form. All of them that I am dragging, they are all components. Now what is the speciality of any component that you see over here? All components have some visual appearance. They are independent of each other. Okay, that is what is a component. So how many components do we get? We get a lot of components over here. So I can get a combo box here. I can get a text area here. So I can put a text area here. I can put a list box here. That is also possible. I can put a slider here. I can put a maybe a scroll bar. Here. So all of them that what I am trying to put now, all of them are components. So I'm going to put one more, the last one. Let me say I'm going to just put a spinner just to see the components. Now all these components, if you look at all these components, all of them have some visual appearance and they are independent of each other. Now suppose if I go and just see the preview of this, this is what it's going to look like. So this is one component, this is another component, this is another component, this one is one component, and here we have a radio button which is again a component, a checkbox which is again a component, a text area wherein I can type more than one line is a component, a spin button which I can spin up and down, a slider which I can move, a scroll bar which I can move. All these are components. Okay. One other thing about these components are I can always set the properties. I can change the properties of the component. How do I do that thing? In NetBeans, I'm going to just show you a very quick way of doing it. So here, when I select any component, for example, if I select a text area, you will notice that I have a text area properties. I can set it. Now I'm going to just set the background of this text area to say yellow color. So now you notice that when I run this particular thing, the background of this will appear in yellow color. So I have set one properties. Maybe I can go to this checkbox and you notice that checkbox is not checked. So I can go over here and I can just say that selected is true. So if I just click on selected is true, I will notice that this checkbox is checked in right at the beginning. So I can always set the properties of my components. So now let's go back to the PowerPoint now. So what are swing components? So swing components are nothing but they are independent visual controls like checkboxes, sliders, list boxes. I can have many of them. Okay, they have some graphical representation. Okay, every one of them, checkbox has a different graphical representation, list box has a different representation, text box has its own representation. They can be displayed on the screen. Okay, and we can interact with these components. Apart from that, we can also set their properties. Okay, to set any properties, we use the set method. In order to retry the method, we use the get method. Now just to show that thing on the NetBeans, how do I do that thing? Now you know very well Java, you have to code. So I'm going to just go to the source code of this particular thing, whatever I have done. So NetBeans has added many components, and you will notice that, right? If you go in the code, you will notice that when I dragged a button, NetBeans actually added a component which is coming under Java X. You notice that it is Java X dot swing and JButton. So I have added a object of this class. Similarly checkbox, similarly combo box, and so on and so forth. Okay, one thing you will notice over here is all of them are actually starting with the J. So J text box, J spinner, J slider, J. So you have something all these swing components, they are starting with J. Now let's come back to the properties that I have set. Now if you look at the NetBeans code here, so the NetBeans has created something called as generated code. I'm going to just open this one, and you will notice that whenever I added the label, it instantiated that label. It instantiated the text field. You notice that even though I have dragged it, but behind the scene, NetBeans has done all these things. Now I have set the properties of the text area. I have set it as a yellow color, and you notice that in order for it to set something, so what it said is set followed by the property. So if it is a background, you say set background and you specify the appropriate value. Suppose if I am changing the size, then it becomes set followed by the property name, that is columns. In the same way, set rows and so on and so forth. So this is to set, and we know very well in order to retrieve the value. Suppose if somebody asks a question, what is the color of the or what is the background color of this text area, then I have to get. So there are two properties which you can see. One is to set the properties, the other one is to get the property. Now there is one other thing. Now I can ask what is the question, I can ask a question, what is the color of the background? Okay, now if you have a checkbox here, and if I want to know whether this is checked or not, then my answer will be either true or false. So I can say either the checkbox is checked or I can say it is unchecked. So in that case, we use, for a Boolean, we use a different method, and that method starts with is. So for example, I can say a property as is checked. So is checked. So that it becomes easier rather than get checked. So this is not easy to read. It's not like more like English, whereas it appears to be the is. When you look at this one, is, this appears to be more like English like word. So they have one other set of properties called as is. Both of them are used to retrieve the value, but For a better English, they are using that. Okay, so now let's look at the hierarchy, how these components are created. Now we know very well in Java, everything starts with the object. Java.lang.object is the base class from which all the other Java classes are derived. So now we are not interested in all the other derivation. We are only interested in our Swing components. From where do we get it? From this object. We have already studied that the components of AWT are derived from this. So from this object, the next derivation is components. From the components, the next derivation is container. Now from this container, if you notice over here, you have one other derivation, and that is J components. Now all Swing components are derived from this. So for us, when we talk about the component, all components of our Swing are derived from J component. Okay, there are exceptions. I'll come back to that slightly later. So from J component, I can have a derivation for label. I can have a indirect derivation from button. I can have a derivation for text area, text field, and so on and so forth. So all our components are derived from the J component. However, you will notice a difference here. You notice that you have some different color over here for these things. Okay, so the reason for it is they are containers. I'll talk about slightly later what is a container. Even though it is derived from the component, they are containers. So we are now focusing on the components, and all of them are these. So these are all components that we have here. And one other thing you will notice is, as already told to you, all the containers, all the components, the starting is J. So we are all familiar with these things. So let's go ahead with the next part. So Swing components start with the letter J. Okay, so J button, J text area, and so on and so forth. Okay, and the other one is Swing. The package name is Java X. So that is the extension. Whereas for the AWT, the package is java.awt. Okay, the next one is, because the Swings are not dependent on the operating system or the platform, so they don't include native code. For the same reason, we say that they are lightweight component. These are lightweight component. What is the speciality of having a lightweight code which is not dependent on Swing is we can change the look and feel of the components that we have here. So let's look at what do I mean by saying that. Let me go to my NetBeans and let me just run this particular, just let me preview this one. So this is one look that you have. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say the design is Windows Classical. Now then if you look at here, you will notice that the old Windows Classical look for the text box, for the drop down list, and that is the combo box, the text box, everything will have this Windows base look. Now if I just turn it, and if I turn it and make it as motif, and you notice that the motif, if you use that system, you notice that the appearance are slightly different. So you have different look. In the same way, if I change my preview to metal, and you have a very different look altogether. Okay, same way I can change. I'm going to change it for the last time, and I'm going to use Synimbus, and you notice that there it appears very differently like our Mac. So things are different. So you can have different look and feel for your swing components. Let's go ahead with the next part, and that is the containers. So now what is this containers? So containers are special type of components. Okay, so they are also components, but they are designed to hold other component. So containers are designed to hold other components. So you are at home, you are familiar with the container. Maybe it is a basket, maybe it is a bucket, maybe it is a box, maybe it is your bag. All of them are container. And why do you use bag? To hold something. Why do you use a bucket? To hold something. Similarly, containers are there to hold something. And what is that something? Other components. So containers are used to hold other components. So in my code that I've just shown you in my NetBeans, you will notice here that all the components that I've added here, all of them are contained in a container. Okay, now if you look at here, this is my container. And what is this container? This container, name of this container in which I have placed all these components, that is called as JFrame. So JFrame is one container on top of which I can add other components. Okay. Now let's go back to the slide here, and let me just take you back to the hierarchy that I've just shown you over here. And when I showed you the hierarchy, I told you that these, if you notice over here, they are not the ordinary components, they are the container. One thing you have to understand here is, so JApplet is a container, JFrame is a container, JPanel is a container. What do I mean by that thing is, if you create a JApplet or if you create a JFrame, if you create a JPanel, inside this you can add other components. So that is the meaning of it. So they are the container that will contain all your other component. Now there is one other thing that you must also understand. What is that thing? Now the other thing that you need to understand here is, even if you take JFrame or JPanel or JApplet, all of them, even if you take all of them, they are indirectly derived from AWT container. This is also derived from AWT container. JPanel is actually derived from JComponent, and that in turn is derived from component. So even though we call it as a container which can contain other component, you must understand one important thing over here, that every container itself somehow is derived from component. So every container is in turn a component. So what is the meaning of that? Suppose if you have a container is also a component. So inside this I can have other container. So I have one container. Inside this I can have one other container. Inside this I can have one other container. Inside this I can have one more container. So I can have container inside container inside container. I can build the hierarchy. So what do I mean by saying I can build the hierarchy? This is the top level container. Inside this I have one other container. Inside this I have one other container. Inside this I have one other container. So I can have container inside container, and finally maybe I can have some components placed there, or maybe there at the other places also. So let's go back to the slide where we have stopped. So let's recall. A container is a special type of component designed to hold other components. Okay, a container can hold group of components. Okay, when you show up the container, all the components which are placed on that container will be shown on the screen as well. Now the next thing, because a container is a component, a container can also have other containers inside it, and we can achieve something called as containment hierarchy. That is, we have a top container inside which we have one or more containers, sub-containers inside this one. Inside this we may have some other containers, and so on and so forth. So we are usually using these containers to group the related items together. So that's the reason why we put container inside the container and so on. So now let's take a simple example. So I have my root, that is the root of the hierarchy is the J-frame, inside which I have J-panel, which is contained inside it. Inside it I have J-button, which is a component, and J-label, which is also a component. So I have a container inside which I have one more container, and inside this I have components. So this is how it goes. Let's go ahead. Now when we talk about containers, there are two types of containers which are available to us. The first level is called as top level containers. So that is the one type, and others are just ordinary containers. Now what are these top level containers? If you look at the hierarchy of containers, you notice that you have two containers here. One is J-applet and J-frame, and you may have many others. I have not shown you all of them. The reason being, it's going to clutter the entire diagram over here. Now these containers are not derived from J components. They are directly somehow inherited from the containers of AWT. Okay, they don't have the swing component. Okay. Whereas if you look at the J panel over here, which is a container, it is derived from J component. Now all those components which are not derived from J component, they are called as top level containers. So these top level containers are those containers which are directly inherited from the Java AWT containers. They are not inherited from the J component. Okay, that is one difference. So what are top level containers? So top level containers are the one which do not inherit from J component. Okay, they inherit from the AWT component. Okay, which are those? There are many are there. Now again to show you. So we have the container from which we have J-applet, J-frame, J-dialog. Many are there. I will not show all of them. Whereas there are some containers like J-panel which is derived from the J component. So coming back to the topic, the containers which do not inherit from the J component are top level containers. Now because they are not derived from the J component, even though they are part of the swing, they are not lightweight because we are not deriving directly from the component. Okay, So they are the, even though they are part of the swing, but they are not lightweight. That means you cannot have a look and feel even for all these containers. Okay, all the good thing about the swings are not directly applicable to these container. Next one very important thing about them is, now these, whether it is J-applet, J-frame, J-dialog, remember they are all top level because they are not inherited from the J component. Now one thing you must understand is these containers can only appear at the root level. So what do I mean by saying that is, suppose if you create a J-applet container, inside this J-applet you cannot put one more J-applet. The reason is J-applet, being a top level container, can only appear at the root of the hierarchy. It cannot appear other than the root. The same thing is true. Suppose if you create a J-frame, again J-frame is here, which is directly inherited from the container. Inside this J-frame I cannot put a J-applet, nor I can put a J-dialog box. So you cannot put them because they are top level and they can appear only at the top of the hierarchy. You cannot create a hierarchical, that is one container inside which you have other containers, inside which you may have some other container. This kind of hierarchy cannot be created using the top level container. That is why they are called as a top level container. So they can only appear at the top of the hierarchy. They cannot appear at other places. Okay. However, suppose if you create a J-frame, remember, let me call J, let me remind you, J-frame is the top level container. Inside this I can put J-panel. J-panel is from the J component. So inside a J-frame I can put a J-panel. So I can put one J-panel, I can put the other panel. Inside again a J-panel I can put one more J-panel. That is possible. The reason is J-panel can be there at any other level of the hierarchy, but J-frame can only appear at the top level of the hierarchy. So I get that thing. So let's come back to our slide, and what do we have here? Okay, top level container implies, okay, they must be there at the top of the containment hierarchy. Okay, also you cannot have a top level container inside the other container. Okay. The commonly used container that we are using is J-frame, and some of you may use the J-applet instead of using the direct applet. Now the next type of container are just the containers. They are not called top level container, they are not called as bottom level containers, they are just containers. The reason is they are derived from J component. So which is the one that you can always think of? So from the J component, one of the container that is derived is J panel. So any container that is derived from the J panel, you can always put it inside the other container. Okay. Now let's go to the NetBeans over here, and I have I'm going to remove some of the components from here by just clicking and just deleting. The NetBeans will do the needful things for me whenever I try to do that thing. So I have removed a few of the component. Now if you notice over here on the other side, now you have swing control right at the top. You notice that container. I have only shown you something called as J panel, but you have J tabbed pane, split pane, toolbar, and so on and so forth. All of them are nothing but containers. I'm going to just drag one panel and I'm going to just place it here. So I have dragged a panel which is a container inside my main container, which is a J-frame. Now just to distinguish between this and the other, I'm going to go and I'm going to set its background color just to make you feel that okay, I did something, that one container is inside the other container. I have placed one container inside the other container. Now I am going to drag one more panel and I am going to place that panel inside the other panel. So I have panel inside J panel inside the other J panel, again to just to give you a hint that I am doing something that in which one container is inside the other container. I'm going just to give a very fancy color to it so you get to know what is it all about. So now if I just preview this one, you notice that this is J frame, no doubt this was the J frame, and inside this you have J panel, inside this you have J panel. Now what else I can do? I can at leisurely I can drag a checkbox. I can drag where is that thing gone? Okay, I can drag a checkbox and I can leave it inside this. I can I think radio button I dragged a checkbox and I can leave it. I can drag a spinner and I can leave it. So just to see how it's going to appear. Now you will notice that the things are really looking great. Now what do I have here is the top level container, which is J frame, inside which I have a J panel, which is a container that contains one other container as well as some components. The inner container, that is the inner J panel, contains some other component, and you can also have one other panel. So I can, in this way, I can always generate something called as containment hierarchy. Okay, so let's go ahead with the next part. Now the next question that derives your mind is, okay, you are dragging everything and you are placing it. Now dragging and placing is not the Java's way of doing it. Suppose if I want to code, how do I code and how do I add something into it? For this I'm going to just give a direct demonstration. It is going to take a slightly longer time because I'm going to start over from the scratch. So I'm going to leave this whole thing here and I'm going to just add a Java class. Straightforward, I'm going to add a Java class and I'm going to say this is my class. You can call it as anything, okay, or a demo class or anything for that matter. So I just created a class, okay, and I want a constructor, and by now you are already familiar. To get a constructor, press Control space and NetBeans will do the needful things. Double click on it. NetBeans has added a constructor for you. Now I'm going to create an instance of JFrame. How do I do that thing? JFrame is derived from the Swing. It's a part of the Swing, but not directly derived from J component. So I'm going to say JFrame control space, and you notice that it is part of the Swing component. Double click on it, so you get this. You notice over here I have Java X Swing.JFrame. Now I'm going to just write JF equal to new JFrame. So I'm creating a JFrame on my own, and I'm going to give just a title to my JFrame. This is demo application. So I just gave a title to this. Now there are few housekeeping routine that you need to do, otherwise the things don't appear to be beautiful. So I'm going to first set the size. Okay, you need to do this whether it's a simple demo or whether it is something else. I have to do that thing. There are few things that I'm supposed to do it. Then the other part I'm going to do is JF set default close action. Okay, I'll talk about JFrame later. As of now I'm going to just say add this one. I'm just doing it for housekeeping work. So there's a few things that you need to do. First one, whenever you create something, you need to set the size of it. I'll show you what is that I'm trying to do slightly later. Then I'm going to add a layout. So I'm going to say set layout, and I'm going to add new flow layout. The layout part I'm going to talk very next. My next topic will be about layout. Now this is housekeeping, what I've done. Now if at all you want to execute it, you don't get any preview with NetBeans because you are doing it everything on your own. So in that case you have to handle everything on your own. Now in order for me to get that frame displayed very neatly on my screen, I have to instantiate this class. Now how do I instantiate this class? I will go to my project. In NetBeans you have to go to the project which contains the main method. So you go here, you go and create here the main method, and you know very well in the main method you are not supposed to run the GUI. So I have to create a separate thread. Now how do I create a thread which will run parallelly with my main method? All difficulties are taken care by the Java people. So what they have done is they have provided you with a class called as Swing Utilities, which comes out with many methods. One of the method that I am really interested in is invoke later. Now what does this invoke later will do is it will execute the second thread asynchronously with my main thread. So this is what I want. Now here I am supposed to give a thread. I've talked about a thread in my regular classes, so you know what is a thread. Now I'm going to create an anonymous class by just creating an instance of runnable. So we are all familiar with runnable. Okay. So you got it, runnable. Okay, runnable interface. This is an interface, and I'm just creating a instance of an anonymous class. Okay, here you know very well runnable interface has one method called as run method, which we are supposed to use to execute anything in the separate thread. So here I'm going to create a instance of my class which I just created. So I'm going to create the instance of my class. Now what is this my class again, if you just forgot? My class is the one that I have just created, in which I have the JFrame and all housekeeping work that I have done. So now I'm going to just run my project, and I'm going to just tell you what is that things that I am trying to do. Okay, so when my code is running, I will tell you what is that one thing. Okay. So where is the... Okay. Now this code is running. Very good that the thing has happened. Nothing is visible. The reason is, if you want the form to be shown to the user, you have to say jf dot set visible is true. Now what has happened is when I have not used the set visible true, but I went and I created an instance of it. Now this instance, when I call this method, you know very well constructor is called. The constructor is called But the problem is I have not asked this form to be shown to me. So how do I say to the Java that okay, you show the form to me? Is by saying set visible is equal to true. Now if I run it, I'm going to see my beautiful form. Now few things about this form is this top level is a JFrame that I've created, and I said this is a demo application, and that's going to appear here, and I've set the size 360 cross 360, and that is the size. That is why it appears to be of that size. And then I said default close operation. Now the default close operation means what will happen if I click on this close button? What should I do? So Java says, I don't know what you are supposed to do it, that you have to decide whether you will close this form, whether you will hide this form. It depends on your code. So what I have said is, when I click on this, if you notice at this junction, I just said that exit on close. So if I click on this close button, then you have to exit the application altogether. The next part that I have here is flow layout. I'll talk about the layout in the next class, so I will not venture into that. Now let's come back to the place where we have actually stopped, and that is how do I add a new component to my application. So how do I do that thing? Now in order for me to do that thing, I will go here and I'm going to create a new component. Now you know very well, one of the simplest component that you can always create is a JButton. So I'm going to say JButton. I'll say btn1 is equal to new button, new JButton, sorry, JButton, and let me give a text to this, and I'm going to say multiply. So a button, let's say for my program I'm using one button. Now I created an instance of my component. I have instantiated my component by, you know very well, when you call a new, you are instantiating. Now my frame object name is JF. So you know very well, JF is my JFrame. I go to JFrame, which is a container, and container, if you put a dot, container has lot of method. One of the method that I am interested is to add a component. There are many ways in which you can add the component. I'm going to just use the simplest one, JComponent, and I'm going to use JComponent, and I'm going to say I'm adding one button. So I have added a button to it. Now I don't need to say set visible for that button, because when the frame is shown, button will automatically be shown to me. So suppose if I run it, I can see the button added. Can you see that thing? Now can I add one more button? The answer is yes, you can always add anything. I'm going to just add a button, one more button here. I will not type the whole thing again because it's going to take a terribly long time. So I'm going to just use the button 2. I'll call it as button 2, and I'm going to say division. Division, and I'm going to add that button to my container. So how do we add something to the container? So we need to get an instance of the container and then call the add method, supply it with the component that we are interested in adding. So that's all we need to do. I'm going to just run it, and what you notice here is two components, two buttons are added. Okay, so how do we add a component into our application? So the answer is very simple. First you create an instance of the component, whether it is a button, whether it's a text box, whether it is a combo box. You create an instance of that particular component. Go to the frame. So this is your frame, or go to the container, okay, and then call the add method. Supply the component to the add method. So let's go back to the PowerPoint, which I have to be run again. So how do I create an instance? First create how do I add a component? First create an instance of the control, then call the add method and add the component. Now if you know how to add, how can I remove? So next question comes is, so if I know how to add a component, is it possible for me to remove a component? Now to remove a component, the component that you have added, you can always remove it. So first you go to the frame again. So I have added two components here, and I'm going to say jf dot. So if there is a method for adding a component, you can always remove a component. So I'm going to remove the first button from my code. Now just to tell you something, that when you execute this particular code, what's going to happen here is, when the control comes here, for the frame, it's going to add the button. It's going to add the button. So button 1 is added. Next it's going to add the button 2. Okay, when it comes here, it's going to add the button 2. So next when it comes, when execute this particular line, it's going to remove this button. Okay, after that it's going to show the form to me. So when I run the particular code, you don't see a button getting added and suddenly button getting disappeared. What you see is this button added and removed, and finally you are going to left out with only one button there. So this is what you're going to get. You don't see an animation over here. I'm not going to create an animation wherein it is going to show one button adding, one button removing. So when I run it, what has actually happened is it added a button 1 and it pulled out the button 1. So you notice that button 1 which is multiply is not appearing here, because it was added and it was removed. Now in the same way, if you want to remove everything in one shot, so you can also remove button 2 and so on and so forth. Suppose if you want to remove in one shot, if you want to remove everything, then you have something called as remove all. So if you say remove all, everything that all the components which are inside are all removed. So now if I run it, you will notice that everything has been removed out. So there is no button, there is nothing is there. You have only blank slate with you. Okay, let's come back to the slide here. So we have added, and now how do I remove it? To remove a component, you call remove, supply the component that you want to remove it. To remove all the component, remove, call remove all. So this is what is all about components and container. Okay, next we are going to look at it is layout managers. So these layout managers are used are helpful for arranging the controls. We are going to look at layout manager in our next class. So before we conclude, let's just recall what is that we have studied. First we have understood what is Swing. Swing is nothing but a GUI toolkit that is used to build the graphical user interface using Java. It's an extension that was given to AWT. Then we have seen that there are two important terms that you need to understand when we talk about Swing. One is the components, which are nothing but the controls that we are using it, which have some appearance. They are independently interactable with the user. Then we have containers, and we have seen top level containers and just the containers. And then we have talked about how to add and remove the component. That's all in this section. We will meet again in the other section. Thank you.